Hello and welcome back to my channel, if indeed you've been here before. If you have, you will have probably noticed I've not been around for a couple of months. Apologies for the lack of updates. I'll hopefully be back now with much more regular uploads, but we'll see how that goes. I don't want to promise anything and then not deliver, but fingers crossed. Yeah, boring reasons why I've been away. I've had to go away with work for a couple of times. I've had a bug, an illness that I've been really struggling to shake off in between for a number of weeks. Not fun. But yeah, here we are. Enough about all that. There's obviously been a few books I've read since I last uploaded, so I thought I'd update on a couple of those in today's video and then get you caught up on the rest in the next one. So yeah, what I thought I would start with today is a book from my 50 books I'd like to read before I'm 50 list, and that is The Old Man and the Sea by Ernest Hemingway. Widely regarded as a classic, came out in the early 50s, 1952, I think. Hemingway obviously held up as a particularly celebrated author. This is a book that was bought for me by an ex-work colleague too many years ago. Shameful. And despite its tiny size, I've only just got around to reading it relatively recently. It was a couple of months ago that I read this, so I thought ahead of doing this update, I would listen to the audiobook, narrated by Donald Sutherland. Very good. First novel audiobook I've ever listened to, actually. And that's something I'd like to explore a bit more in a future video, I think, because, I don't know, I'm a bit traditional. I like the tactile nature of having a physical book in my hands and reading it that way. This was obviously very, very helpful for kind of getting me reminded of what was going on in the book, ready to record this video. But yeah, I need to think about whether I need to make more time in my schedule for audiobooks. But yeah, let's talk about that another time. But yeah, The Old Man and the Sea. So this is a story about an elderly fisherman called Santiago, who is on this kind of incredibly long losing streak. He hasn't caught a fish in, I think it's 80 plus days, and is kind of deemed incredibly unlucky. So the boy who would usually kind of accompany him on his fishing escapades, he has been forced by his parents to work on another vessel, one that's kind of deemed much more lucky. So Santiago is left to fend for himself, but he is not dispirited. He is determined to kind of go out and prove everyone wrong. So he sets out early one morning with an idea of kind of catching something really remarkable. And the book is really about that. It's about his kind of will against all odds to try and prove himself and fight against adversity and kind of about the human spirit and those kind of themes. It's very, very good. It's not something that completely blew my mind. I think for a book that is obviously very, very highly lauded, it's not something where I'd be going, oh God, you must read this to all my friends kind of thing. But it is very well written. There are some kind of humorous touches there that I wasn't necessarily expecting. There are mentions of baseball and things which I particularly enjoy. I've got into that sport over the last few years in a big way. So yeah, there was elements to this book that I wasn't necessarily expecting. And yeah, I mean, the writing is great. It's full of character. So yeah, it's not that I didn't enjoy it. I really, really did enjoy it. But maybe I went in with incredibly high expectations, which is sometimes a recipe for me being slightly underwhelmed by the end. And I think it works the other way for me too if I go in with super low expectations, because a lot of people tend to say something is really quite poor. Normally I'll get something more out of it. So maybe that's a me thing. But yeah, definitely. I can definitely see why Hemingway is held up as a celebrated author. Very interested to read more by him. If there's anything in particular you think I should kind of zero on in next for Hemingway, please let me know in the comments which ones I should be looking to kind of bump up the list. But yeah, so that was a book from my 50 before 50 list. I also did a separate list of 50 books also I want to read before I'm 50 that kind of dubbed my life stories. What I did was I picked a book from each of the years I've been alive, from 1980 onwards, and then added a couple of wild cards at the end to make it up to 50. All of those I'm going to try and read before I'm 50 as well. This one, I think from 1992, is also about an older gentleman. This is called A Man Called Ove. It's by Fredrik Backman. His debut novel, I believe. Yeah, this is about Ove, the titular character, and he is recently retired. He is also grieving, we learn a little way into the book. And the book is largely about him processing that grief and his demeanor. He's a crotchety guy. He is seen as a bit of a miserable guy from the outside. He's very much set in his ways. He likes things the way they are. He thinks other people should do things in a certain way. They should follow the rules, and there are proper ways to do things. And if he sees people who aren't following those rules, he has something to say about it. So he's not always the most beloved person in his neighborhood. But the book is around that, and also him coming to open up slightly as the book goes on to this community who irritate him greatly at times, but also probably have his best interests at heart most of the time. And yeah, it's a fairly simple story, but it's an emotional story at times. It's an amusing story at times. It's well written. I have one major problem with it. There's a character in this book called Jimmy. What we know about Jimmy by the end of the book, from the beginning of his introduction to the end of the book, is he's overweight. He likes video games. He's geeky. He's basically portrayed as an incredibly stereotypical fat nerd, for want of a better phrase. And it just came over a little bit fat-shamey. I didn't enjoy that part of it at all. It left a bit of a sour taste in the mouth. So I'll be interested to know. I'm definitely going to read more Backman. I'm interested to know if that kind of thing is something that he kind of cut out as he went along. But yeah, I don't know if any of you have read that, whether you felt the same way about that character or some of the ways he was portrayed. But yeah, despite that, I enjoyed this book quite a lot. A Man Called Ove. I've not seen either of the film adaptations. I know those were popular. Obviously, the American version, A Man Called Otto, with Tom Hanks. But yeah, Backman. I've got Backman's Beartown on my shelf, so that's probably the next book of his I will try. It probably won't be anytime soon because of these stupid 50 book lists I've made that I need to get through the next few years. But yeah, Beartown is probably the next one. If there are any Backman books that you, not Richard Backman, Fredrik Backman books that you feel I should be bumping up the list a bit higher, then please do let me know, and I'll take note. But yeah, that's the update. A couple of books down. I've got a few more to update on in future videos, but I thought I'd do that while I get myself back up to speed. Keep it quite short and to the point today. But yeah, I appreciate you watching this. If you have been waiting for the next video, I apologise. And as I say, hopefully there will be more to come. But in the meantime, take care, and I will catch you next time. Bye-bye.